He doesn't want anything to have his name. He wants everything to have the name of the what? Of the slave master. Whoever the slave master is, that's who the African man wants to give credit to. So the African man, the rich man, doesn't want to say, look at my machine. I made this machine. I made this machine. Look at this machine. This is our machine. The African man doesn't want to say that. No. When he's boasting to other African men, this is what he says. Look at my German machine. Because he thinks he's a German. That's why he's saying my German and then machine. That's what they boast when they have a BMW. Look at my German machine. That's what they boast, right? You'll never hear these rich people saying, look at my Kenyan machine. No. I want no association with Kenya. Zero. So there's zero manufacturing in Africa. Because that's the spirit of the people. It's the spirit of a slave. It's the spirit of a slave. Okay? So the African man wants to boast that his machine is German, that it is not Nigerian. You won't see a rich man rushing to Nigeria and buying, they're making some really nice pickups in Nigeria. I think they're called Innocent. You will not see a rich man from Africa say, you know what, no, I want the franchise for Innocent. It's time we brought Innocent to Kenya. So that you can say, look at my Nigerian machine. No. An African man never takes pride in any other African man. No. He takes pride in the slave master. Only. And he associates himself only with the slave master. Only. With no one else. With the slave master. I am called Charles. And this is my son. This is my son Ryan. Always associates with who? The slave master. You go to Somalia. I am called Muhammad. And this is my son Ahmed. Always boasting and wanting to associate with who? His slave master. Yeah, you understand? Yeah, so this is the situation that is facing us. And all the African men are like that. All of them. You will not. The last time we had men in Kenya was the Mau Mau. These are the only men that I can say, these are men. These are men. They know who their enemy is. First of all, they know they have an enemy. They know who the enemy is, and they are willing and ready to take action against the enemy. They know exactly what their interest is. They know how to fight for wealth. We are fighting for land. Why? Because it's wealth. Real estate is wealth. Can you imagine if you had like 2 acres in Kiambu? Are you not stinking rich right now? So they knew what they were fighting for. They were not fighting for freedom. Like the South Africans were fighting for freedom and not the wealth of the land. Oh, you want to be free? Oh, you want to go to this beach where you are not allowed to go to the beach? Yes. But you don't want to own the hotel? Yes. Okay, then you can go to the beach. So the Africans in South Africa, they're celebrating. Yeah, we can go to the beach. We can go to the beach. Not realizing that they don't own the hotel that is making money on that beach. So you get freedom and absolute poverty. Okay, that's useless. At least the Mau Mau knew as we are fighting for land. We are not fighting for all these, I don't know, concepts. We are first the land. Before we discuss anything else, first of all the land. Yeah. Any other conversation will come after we get the land. So those are the only people that I can say, these are actual real men. I can respect these men. Okay? But to the rest of you with your Mzungu names, it becomes very difficult. What is there to respect? I'm not saying what's there to respect. There's nothing to respect. But you're rich. Yes, you're rich. I mean, stealing money from the government, no. Can't make anyone rich. And that's not something to respect either. How do you make the money? Like you stole the money, straight up, or your parents stole the money, straight up. So you actually didn't make the money. The money was stolen, right? So there's nothing to respect. I don't care which you are. I cannot respect a thief. So this is the reality that we face here in Africa. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why the continent can never industrialize. Ever. It can never industrialize. You try to explain to people the need to make things, they don't see the need because they want to boast that they did not make it. You see, the rich man wants to boast. Look at my shirt. It is made by Gucci. The rich woman wants to boast, like, look at my wig. It is imported, I don't know from where. It is worth 30,000. The rich people want to boast that they didn't support their local economy at all. That is what gives them validation. I've even seen governors boasting. Look at my Louis Vuitton. That's a whole governor. This is how African men want. And leading the young people. Yes, you should boast about what others make. Never boast about what you've made. In fact, don't make anything. And so Africans don't make anything at all. So you land in an African country. While you're flying to land in the capital, the first thing you notice is the slums. My God, I think 60% of the people live in the slum, in the city. Wow. And then the other thing you notice, as the plane is coming down to land, and you're looking down, surveying everything, you notice there are no factories. No factories at all. None. No factories at all. Almost zero production. Zero manufacturing. So you ask yourself, well, you're still looking down at the city. So what do they do for a living? What do they do for a living? There are no factories. What do they do on a day-to-day basis? Every single day when they wake up, what do they do? Because there are no factories. I can't see any factory from here. I'm looking. I'm just seeing houses. Houses. A lot of squeezed houses with mabati roofs. But I can't see any factories. So you land. And once you leave the airport, you see the number of people who are walking around idle during the day. They're just walking around. So you ask them, where are all these people going? They're not doing anything. They're just walking around. And they're wearing tattered clothes. The clothes look very, zimeparara. How do you say parara kwa Kizungu? And the other thing you notice that the clothes are too big for their bodies. And they don't look well. They don't look healthy. The skin doesn't look healthy. And they're walking all over the place. All over the place. You should check. There are no factories. Nothing. So you immediately, just by doing an analysis from the plane, you're like, the poverty level has to be extremely high. It has to be high. Because when I was flying in, I did not see factories because I was looking for the industrial sector. You can tell the industrial sector because the roofs of the buildings tend to be bigger. So you can tell that's a production plant. That's a production line. And you can see smokestacks. Right? You can see smokestacks, right? And you can see large buildings. Not tall, I mean large in terms of the land area because it's a factory. So when you're landing in normal countries, you do look at one section of the city and you can see the huge warehouse type buildings. A whole section of them, a huge section of them is just those buildings. So you can see that the industrial sector is huge. So you're like, wow, I bet this is a prosperous city. They make a lot of things. I can see the buildings. But not when you land in any African town. You look down. You notice there is no industrial sector. Almost none. Almost only like 1% of the land area is dead. You can see that it's dedicated to industrial production. There are no chimney stacks because there's no production. You're like, what do they do for a living? Well, once you land on the ground, you realize they don't do anything for a living. You're like, so how do they survive? How do they live their lives? They don't live their lives, they survive. How? Well, they live in slums, for one. How many live in slums? Well, almost half the population of the city. Half the population of the city lives in slums, yes. With nothing to do. So what do the men do the whole day? Well, they go to bars and they drink poison to kill themselves. What do the women do? They prostitute themselves. Very easy to buy a prostitute. God, you're like, how can you people live like this with no industrial sector? Well, that's how they like it. Apparently, yes, that's how they like it. They will not produce anything that is locally produced. If you make clothes locally, they will refuse to buy. All these poor people, they go to buy used clothes from outside. You're like, why do they buy used clothes? Don't they have tailors? Yes, they do have tailors, but they refuse to buy from the local tailors. Wow. So the textile industry cannot grow. It can never grow. And employ like 100,000 people. Never. So who makes them buy the used clothes from outside the country? They do. No one forces them. Why? Why do they do that? Well, because they want to look like Mzungu. Why do they want to look like Mzungu? Well, because they worship Mzungu as God. Yeah, go into their temples. Assuming you're arriving from 10,000 years, you're looking at this society from 10,000 years or 2,000 years into the future. You're investigating what was going on in that society. You find it very bizarre. So you'll be like, okay, so you mean to tell me when you go into their temples, they worship foreigners? Yes, they've created altars, and on those altars they've put statues of foreigners, idols of foreigners, and cartoon paintings of foreigners, and they worship these foreigners as their gods. You're like, you're kidding me. I kid you not. And so they try to emulate themselves after the foreigners, to the point that they will not make anything for themselves because they want what the foreigner has made. They want to associate completely with the foreigner. They hate associating with themselves. They don't even give themselves their own names. They give themselves the foreigners' names because they want total association with the foreigner. So they make nothing. They absolutely make nothing. Wow. What kind of society was that? What's the level of intelligence of that society? Well, it can't have been very high. No, it can't have been very high. Wow. And how long did they live like this? Well, for hundreds of years. Wow. My God. And it never occurred to them that the way to resolve poverty is to self-produce. No, it never occurred to them. Why? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Kenya's time has come. Our time has come. Your time has come. A time to succeed and not fail. A time to grow wealth and not poverty. A time to go up and not down. It's time for you to stop walking and drive your car. Stop renting and buy yourself a house. It's your time to get blessed. Join the CCV movement, and together let us kick poverty and unemployment out of Kenya. Become a member today. Donate what you can. And remember that the CCV is the only political organization in Kenya that is squarely built upon Christian values, unlike the rest. We'll see you next time. Thank you.